Sam, what are your thoughts on that overall?
Top quality team, and you have to admire a top quality team when particularly in the first half, too good for you. And as hard as you try and as hard as the lads try to cope with the quality that they got, wasn't something we could cope with. And I think that certain points of the game where we tried to open up, and then they scored the third goal. But the real turning point of this game, and who knows what it might have been, we might not have got any more. That was one we should have gone to 1-1, and then within a minute they've gone 2-0 up. So that was a massive turning point for us, and then it made life very difficult when they scored the third on the counter-attack. We thought Silva was offside, but it's very close, but you either get some or you don't. But the second half, we came out, we fought, we battled, we tried, we scored a goal, we carried on trying, and we tried to go right to the very end to try and get a little bit more out of the game. But you've got to admire the opposition. All 11 players are fantastic in that system, and it's why they're so far ahead of the Premier League. And at the end of the day, we knew it was always going to be very difficult, and that was exactly what it was, particularly in the first half.
What did you say to your players at half-time when you've witnessed the first 45 minutes 3-0 down like that?
We reorganised a little bit more, played just jingle with the shape a little bit, but decided to, if you're going to do one thing, do it all together. In other words, if you're going to close down in their half, do it all together. If you're going to drop off in the mid-third or the ball, you're going to drop off, do it all together. And then when you want to go and press the ball, do it all together. And that was part of the trouble in the first half, where 3 or 4 of the front line would go and the back lads would stay at the back and midfield in front of them and wouldn't react to what they were doing. And then if you do that to Man City, as we all know, they have the quality to play around you and through you brilliantly, but they can do anything. You try and shut them down on the front line, they'll play you through there. You try and stay in the final third with 9 and 10 men, they play you through that. They're that good, and the quality of the finishing, particularly the first one. I mean, there's not too many players, I think, even in the Premier League, could have done better at that finish. And like I said, we could have avoided the second. I think that we were poor there. But the big turning point, like I said, for me was when Yannick Bolasie missed the free header. That goes to 1-1. Who knows? We may not have won, but it might have made a better game of it. But I have to say, second half turnaround from our lads, rolled their sleeves up, didn't sulk, got at Man City whenever they could. Yannick scored a goal, had a little bit of a moment, and then, of course, Man City killed it off by keeping the ball off us, and it's very difficult to get it back.
In all the time you've been in the game, are they as good a team as you've faced as a manager?
Yeah, they are. They're as good a team as I faced, yes. I think that there's the Man United team, and then there's the Arsenal side. I think that in terms of pure football, those two teams, but in terms of the team that got results and won the league was probably Chelsea in Jose's time, but certainly this side has got a huge amount of quality all the way through, and it's whatever you think, the lads tried as hard as they possibly can, but when the opposition are so much better than you, or all 11, particularly in the first half, you can only keep fighting, and we kept fighting. We didn't concede in the second half, and we scored a goal, so we got a little bit of pride back, if you like. So credit to the lads for doing that. But first half was after we didn't score the equaliser was really tough.
And just finally, how important now to put that to bed? You've got another huge game, of course, on Saturday.
Well, I mean,
the Merseyside derby.
These are the two big sides in the Premier League at the minute, and if you're going to get a result against them, we have to be on top form. And we've suffered from a number of injuries all season. Again, that's played a part. I think today in all fairness, we tried our best, but particularly probably in midfield, we haven't got a lot of actually midfield players today to choose from. So Morgan's probably the really only midfield player that we had today. But in the end, we went out and did as much as we could, tried as hard as we could, and it wasn't good enough. But that's been the same for everybody apart from one team, I think, and that's Liverpool who beat them.